We have watched as the Walt Disney Company and Hollywood have destroyed themselves over politics, DEI, and virtue signaling. Now, as they reach the precipice of absolute destruction, Orange Man bad. That's right, President El Trumpo is stepping in, ready to save Tinseltown and once again bring it back to what it was supposed to be, a bastion of American culture.
The fact that they've made it so difficult to be working in California is the biggest problem there.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we, as ever, endeavor to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve. Happy Sunday afternoon. Happy to have you if you're watching this video at the time of release. And you know what? If you're watching this at any other time, well, it's good to have you too, wherever and whenever you are. Folks, we're going to start this one in a weird way. Please give me the moment just to do this, because it's going to make sense, I promise. As we do, click the like button. Give me 2 minutes. We'll get to the Trump story. This one is from Disney itself. Star Wars Revenge of the Sith shows lasting appeal with $42.2 million at the global box office this weekend. In other words, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith nearly made as much money as Snow White did domestically in its first weekend. Let me say it again. Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, a 20-year-old movie with zero money spent on this, right? I mean, essentially, there is no money being spent on marketing, no money being spent on print and ads. It's minuscule. Whatever was spent is so minuscule as to be closer to zero. It made as much money worldwide almost as Snow White did domestically in the first weekend. And guess what? Disney is putting this press release out. Pay attention to this. Disney is putting the press release out. Where is the Andor press release? Where is the press release about Kathleen Kennedy's stuff? Where is it, folks? Oh, wait. Valiant Renegade says, with a 2.5-hour premiere, Andor failed to chart in the top 10 in a subcategory of streaming. Streaming originals, nowhere to be found. We've covered this. Andor is nowhere to be found. Truly, Kathleen Kennedy's version of Star Wars is dead. We'll come back to that. But if we go to the press release, and again, nothing on Andor. This is on George Lucas. Nothing Disney has made. It says this weekend, 2 decades after its initial theatrical release, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, proved its lasting audience appeal by taking in an estimated $42.2 million at the global box office. Folks, what would The Last Jedi make if they re-released it? It might actually manage to make negative numbers. It might actually make negative numbers. Why? Because people are tired. They're exhausted. They're fed up. They're done. They are done with the drivel that has been handed to us by modern Hollywood and their modern message. All right, let's get to the Trump side of this. You came here for that. I'll give it to you, but I needed to set up the table for you. Why? Because you need to know Hollywood is in such dire despair. They don't know if the Mandalorian Grogu movie is going to make any money, but by golly, a movie from 20 years ago re-released will. Shoot, if I were them at this point, I'd be re-releasing Indiana Jones movies. I'd be re-releasing the original trilogy. I don't care what I've got to do. Find some footage. Find some stuff that wasn't put in the originals. Do it. Add 5 minutes to the runtime and call it a day, because you got to have some way of making money. Don Chmielewski out of Reuters has this. Voight seeks to revive Hollywood's golden age with Trump-backed tax credits. John Voight is one of the ambassadors to Hollywood that Trump has named. John Voight, one of 3 veteran actors named by U.S. President Donald L. Trumpo as special ambassadors to Hollywood, is preparing to outline his plans to restore the entertainment industry's golden age. Voight, who rose to acclaim for playing a street hustler in the 1969 Midnight Cowboy and received an Oscar in 1979, said he has witnessed the heavy toll production flight has taken on the acting community, as well as those who support filmmaking. What are we talking about? Well, folks, we've covered this now over and over. I think we were one of the first ones to cover just how badly things are going. Film and television production in Los Angeles has fallen by 40% over the last decade, a nonprofit, Film LA, has said. Meanwhile, governments around the world have offered more generous tax credits and cash rebates to lure productions and capture a greater share of the $248 billion that is spent to produce content. $248 billion a year on entertainment. That has taken a toll on employment in Hollywood, where one recent Otis College report on the creative economy found 25% fewer film and TV jobs than in 2022. Now, I need to explain this. This is such a huge number. This goes beyond anything we've reported before. Because, folks, we don't have the numbers right now for 2025. The newest numbers we have are 2024. So what does that mean? Well, it means that in 2 years, California managed to eliminate 1/4 of their jobs based on entertainment. Can you imagine that in any industry? In 2 years, 1 out of 4 people no longer has a job in that industry. That is a catastrophic, cataclysmic kind of collapse in the Golden State. It is such that even Fox News is now saying, hey, we got to save this thing. The crazies, the zanies of California, the moronic politicians over there have pummeled the industry, and it's time for Orange Man Bad to come in and save the day. And folks, I'm not here to tell you that Trump is the savior of Hollywood. I'm here to tell you that it's so bad that Republicans feel sorry for the entertainment giants. This out of Fox News, it says actors go behind the scenes on how Trump is making Hollywood great again. This is by Kristen Altus. It says 2 people who know all about the inner workings of Hollywood's iconic film and television industry are detailing the very, very difficult task President Trump has to turn around La La Land's legacy. Now, why? Now, this is going to feature Dean Kane, who's been on the channel before. We're going to play him in just a minute. But why? Why would Trump want to turn around Hollywood? Why does he care, folks? And we'll come to this in just a minute, I promise. Why does he care if George Lucas movies from 20 years ago are making money and movies from today are making none minus Minecraft? Why would President Trump care about that? Because movies and TV and entertainment have been one of the things that America has used to export the values and the beliefs of the nation across the world. It's had a profound impact. But guess what? When we export nonsense, woke, ideological crap all over the world, when we send that out, when we broadcast that out, it diminishes the nation. So the effort now is, how do you turn this around? How do you save it? All right, let's take a look now. I'm going to give you Dean Kane, his response to a question here on Fox and Friends from Sunday morning. Here we go.
This article in the New York Times saying it's not feeling like we're Hollywood anymore. It says that the entertainment industry is going to become what Detroit was or California is to the entertainment industry, what Detroit is to the auto industry. It's really dire. I don't think Americans understand how bad it is.
No, I mean, that's one of the things we export the most from our country is our culture. And that's the films and the things that we make. The fact that they've made it so difficult to be working in California is the biggest problem there. The regulations and the ridiculous policies make it almost impossible to film there. So everybody is fleeing. Just the fact that President Trump named Jon Voight, Mel Gibson, and Sylvester Stallone, all 3 legends, to this advisory board, gives some cachet to some folks who, were otherwise ostracized for being conservatives in Hollywood. And I think that's a great first step. I'm interested to see what John has to say. They're all guys that I know and respect tremendously. So it's going to be interesting. But
folks, do you catch what Dean Kane is saying here? Dean Kane is saying that it's gotten so bad that Hollywood is now ready for conservatives to come in and try to save the day. And I'm not here to tell you that conservatives have all the answers. Like, I'm the channel, I'm the person who tries to say mainstream middle, sensible center, you need left, you need right. You need people of various philosophies and backgrounds and ideologies to come together, right? But Hollywood has barred the door, right? You dare even give a whiff of being moderate, and they'll do a Gina Carano to you. If we go here to back to Reuters, here are some of the things they're trying now to save the day. Not Trump yet. This is still out of California. It says, the group also supports, this is the group that's trying to save Hollywood as it is total collapse. By the way, Georgia now, I don't know if you know this, Georgia now has more productions than California. Georgia has more productions, more entertainment productions than California. Just happened this year. It says the group also supports legislative efforts to expand California's film and television tax credit program by more than doubling the amount of tax incentives the state offers to $750 million annually, up from the current level of $330 million. Now, why are they doing this, folks? It's not because they're in a good place. I'll guarantee you that. It's not because things are dandy. It's not because things are fine. It's because they're in trouble. They're in deep trouble. And what put them in this trouble? Well, go back to the Star Wars story. It turns out that people want Star Wars. It turns out that people love Star Wars. It turns out that you can put a 20-year-old movie out there and people will come to see the film. But you put out Andor, or you put out The Acolyte, and nobody wants to see this stuff, whether it's on TV or on the silver screen. Nobody wants what Hollywood is selling. They don't want the Kathleen Kennedy version. Turns out they don't want whatever Kevin Feige has been up to lately. They don't want that stuff. They want the stuff they watched in the 90s. They want the stuff they saw in the 80s. They want to go back to universal storytelling. Returning to the Fox News article, it says the overregulations in California are wild. This from Miller. Says, and right now, when all of these states are offering a 30% incentive to take the industry and shoot in Georgia, Connecticut, and other states, I was asking 4 months ago for the governor to enact something simple. Match the Georgia tax incentives. California now, 4 months later, is still talking about it. Super complicated formula. Doesn't address many of the types of shows that I do, the producer clarified. Unscripted alternative programming, which is a part of the Hollywood output. A New York Times report released last month found that over a 2-year period from 2022 to 2024, roughly 18,000 film and TV jobs evaporated from Hollywood. Now, let me tell you something. They didn't just evaporate out of Hollywood. That didn't happen. They left Hollywood and they went somewhere else. Where did they go? Georgia, Canada, the UK, but mostly, apparently, Georgia. It turns out there's an exodus. So why would Trump want to come in and save the day for California? Why does he care about trying to save California? Well, folks, here's the deal. It's an opportunity for them. It's an opportunity for them to come in and try to reform what has happened in a state that is in free fall. The population is decreasing in California. The economy is decreasing in California. And it mirrors, when you watch and see what people want in entertainment, you can see the mirror image of what's happening in the state of California, because it turns out people don't want to live with people who control the state. And people don't want to watch the content coming out from this state either. Listen, there were songs for decades about California, whether it was the Beach Boys singing about California girls, or whether it was about Beverly Hills. That's where you want to be. Living in Beverly, right? There have been songs for decades. Californication, decades. How many songs are being sung right now about living in California? They have managed to make it so that people want to go live in Florida and Tennessee and Texas. People want to go live in Montana and Idaho. They don't want to go to California. So why is Trump trying to save it? Because I think they see an opportunity here to make headwinds and headways and get a foot in the doorway for making change in the Golden State. I personally don't think that that's going to work. I personally disagree with what they're doing necessarily. I think that California has to learn the lesson first, and I'm not sure that it has. I'm not talking about Californians. Californians have had to suffer through this. Remember the area the size of Paris burning down over the last few months? Yeah, nobody's being held accountable. Until the politicians learn the lesson, nothing is going to change that I can see. Because the politicians there are utterly corrupt. And I try not to get into politics, but this is distinctly and totally political. The people there who run the state and who run the entertainment companies are totally, utterly corrupt for the most part. And until there's accountability, I'm afraid that stepping in at this point is just going to provide them with a Band-Aid and an influx of cash to keep doing really, really dumb things. I hate to see the exodus of art from California and going to places like Atlanta and going to places like Austin, Texas. I hate to see that. I hate to see that New York is not the safe place that it was 2 decades ago. I hate to see what's happening, but I can't ignore it. And until the people making those decisions are removed, I implore everybody involved to be careful about getting involved with these nut jobs, because they have rendered the entertainment industry such, and their economies, but they've rendered at least the entertainment industry such that people are flocking to go see movies from 20 years ago and holding their nose, walking away from the stuff they're making today. That is the legacy of many of those, from Kathleen Kennedy to Bob Iger. They should have stuck with what worked, and then people would still be working in California. Folks, that is the video for the day. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had a good time coming our way. We're so thankful for each and every one of you. Folks, all we ask now is that you go from being a passive to an active viewer. Click the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. Let us know, do you think that President Trump should step in and try to help? Is it his duty? Is it his burden to bear? Or should he stay away and let the golden bear figure it out still and learn a lesson that will be hard, difficult, and may leave it in a place it does not ever fully recover from? Let us know. Folks, until the next time, we have the joy of spending time with you. Keep learning, keep growing. You know it. Keep having fun.
You'd better hang on to your feathers, little bird. They need to put you in the show.
What? Jose, what are you listening to? You don't even have ears.
Vacation Radio 24/7. Original music on YouTube. Vacation Radio. WDW Pro Music Channel.
I have no idea what you're saying. But if you want to be listening to music, you should head over to Vacation Radio 24/7 on YouTube. One of the 100 other channels WDW Pro's been working on. Oh, and I have a song for you, Jose. Jose Cowabunga. He is Jose Cowabunga.
He's Jose.
That one seems a little bit foreign to you.